Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cinema Savvy. It is myself, George, joined by Ren and Paul for what may be the biggest video on the channel this year, one of the most seismic events of the year. We are, of course, talking about Toy Story 3 as we do another episode of the Pixar Retrospective. And it is not just any old episode of Pixar Retrospective, not just because we're talking about three of the what will be five, maybe 5.5 Toy Story films, whether we include Lightyear or not, I don't. Today, at the time of this video going up, will mark the 40th anniversary of Pixar's inception as a film studio. So there's a lot of history. Not that we're going to talk about with that in this, but maybe we'll talk a little bit about this day. Maybe I'll put you both on the spot with a question, a quiz, who knows. But before we get into any of that stuff, how are you both doing today?
I'm fine, thank you very much. Enjoying a lazy Sunday.
Yeah, doing well. You guys reminded me of the 9/11 meme, and I keep throwing out in love.
It's maybe perhaps the greatest behind the scenes story of the channel that people won't get out of context. But if you've seen Toy Story 1, we're not aiming for the truck. If you've been on social media in the last few years, you'll know. The inside joke is that Paul didn't know of that, and we've basically ruined him. He can't escape it. I see merchandise in a shop, I send Paul a photo. That's going to be...
You sent it right, like literally, seconds before me,
live.
you and Sam did A Bug's Life, and you were like the 9/11 meme, and you sent it to me. I'm pissing myself laughing. You went, right, let's roll. And then, like, if you rewatch that video, I am fighting for my life not to laugh.
I think that's what added to it. And the wildest thing is, the video before on Toy Story, me and Aaron spoke about that at length. I say at length. And if anyone's
9/11 meme,
I was going to say, like, yeah, thankfully we're not uploading this on September the 11th, but even in the Cars video recently, Jed made a comment about that there's post 9/11 airport security in the Cars world. No, he didn't say the obvious, but I was sat like, does that mean then that the plane spin-off that won't be released is that event? What a way to start this anniversary special, by the way. I hope no one from Disney's watching. I know Hoppers is out in a few weeks.
And they're like, shit, they're on to us.
It helps. Maybe there'd be a... Oh, no, I can't say that. I definitely can't say that now. But, as we said, it is Pixar's 40th anniversary. And I'm going to say this. It's weird to talk about Pixar as a 40th anniversary because when Lucasfilm had its 50th anniversary, that was 1975. The first film came out 2 years later. Pixar's 40th anniversary, the first film came out 9 years after. And for those that are unfamiliar, Pixar was sold to Steve Jobs by George Lucas. We spoke about this at length on the very first episode, but if anyone doesn't know why today marks the anniversary, is that George Lucas sold what was called the graphics group at the time for $5 million to Steve Jobs. That would become Pixar. That involved John Lasseter. And then 20-ish years later, that gets sold for $7.4 billion. So I think it's safe to say Steve Jobs did well out of that transition. And we wouldn't be doing this video discussing these films without the combination of a Steve Jobs, without Disney, without George Lucas. So it is an important day for the history of the studio, but I don't hold it up in regards to something as important, let's say Toy Story's 30th anniversary, which really was this is the studio, this is their film, this is what is to come, and what we're going to start doing. And that's what we've been doing week by week. And I also think it's fair to say we've arrived at a monumentous entry with Toy Story 3. Now, I know so many people wanted to go on the Toy Story 2 video we did. I had to turn down people's requests for that, if you had anyone request about behind the scenes, because it would have just been like 7-8 people talking about how great Toy Story 2 is. But Toy Story 3, I knew from a nostalgic standpoint of the context of 2010, the film's reputation 16 years later, everything else discussed about this film, this was going to be a special one. And the fact it fell on the anniversary worked wonders for us. I'm so glad it's this and not Cars 2, which is next week. But before we start really talking about our memories of this, I'm going to fly over the IMDb plot synopsis, which is: the toys are mistakenly delivered to a daycare centre instead of the attic right before Andy leaves for college. And it's up to Woody to convince the other toys that they weren't abandoned and to return home. And I'm going to say that's one long-ass synopsis that isn't really needed as the synopsis, but it's fascinating to read them about films that we all know so well. But where I do want to make this more interesting, bring you both into this one, and for people watching at home, I really do want to get their thoughts on this, different age groups, whatnot. What is your memories of Toy Story 3? Like, what was your journey? What can you remember about seeing it? The years that followed? I'm curious because I think we're all going to have our own stories on this one. Uh, I'll go last on mine, but Ren, if you want to go first.
I watched this movie the day it came out. I was there in the cinema ready for it because it's a Toy Story movie, so of course. I went with my girlfriend at the time. We both cried so much at the end, and this was very much like on the cusp of me going to college and to university in like the next 2 years after this. Ended up being 2 years, but that's another conversation. And I have loved this movie ever since. And the fourth installment only reinforces my love for this. And it's since this movie that this is the movie that I point to, reminding people why I never get rid of my toys. They're all in the basement back home, and that's where they'll stay because I can always go back to them.
Lovely, Paul.
It's nice. I was 16 when it came out, and I remember vividly. I saw it 3 times in 1 week. Like, I remember it was like the summer holidays. Like, I used to hang out with my friends, and then one afternoon we were hanging out, and I was like, guys, I'm going to go watch Toy Story 3. And I went by myself, and I loved it. Do you know what? I was so pumped that they played, the little short film, what is it, Night and Day?
Yeah.
I was probably like, can you hurry the fuck up, guys? I need to get to my Toy Story 3. I don't give a shit about this Night and Day bullshit. Can we get to the toys and the story and the 3? And then about 2 days later, I managed to talk one of my friends into going to see it. I was like, it's so good. And then at that weekend, I went with a couple and their friend. I think they wanted it to be a double day. But it wasn't. For reasons. But then I saw it again and I was like, this is like the greatest movie ever made. And I still stand by that it is like one of the best movies ever made. It's fucking great.
I've got 2 stories on this. So, Ren, the latter one might be different. I'd be curious about your background in Portugal, but
Okay.
this released in the UK either on a Monday or a Tuesday. You know when they call them like preview screenings, it clearly isn't. And it's just to have a larger quote-unquote box office weekend. So this was the last week of school in year 9 before we split up for the summer holidays. And my birthday is July the 9th. So it was like a week after or a week and a bit after. And I'd wanted to watch this. I used birthday money to buy my tickets. And I went with one of my sisters. And I think this preview must have been the Tuesday. I basically was like, I want to do day 1. I don't want to wait. It's Toy Story. There's a third film. I need to go. I will be there. So I watched it. I loved it. I cried. I'm sure we'll get into all of that. And the Friday is when our school year split up. And Paul, I don't know if you had this. On your last day of term or last day of the year, you'd always have a half day for some reason unknown. You would have a half day. And what happened at our school, for some reason, every single year, about 2/3 of the year group, even though people don't all know each other or get along or whatnot, for some reason would always go to a KFC or a McDonald's like 15 minutes away from our school. Don't ask why or how. Maybe because it's lunchtime and it's the last day. But this year in 2010, I kid you not, it felt like the entire school year went to the cinema together to watch Toy Story 3. So I'd already seen it once. I'd seen it once. I was traumatized by what a friend said about the poster, saying it looks like Woody's got a camel toe, and I've never forgotten that. He won't be watching. His name is Pepe, and he's a good friend of mine. But the screening was full, and it was wild because it was like the year group. And this wasn't an organised trip. This was a social that everyone wanted to go and see Toy Story 3. And I sort of look back at that quite fondly now because, not that I cared about the school year, but it's like there's clearly a whole group of people in that same academic year who had the same nostalgic childhood. Paul, I know what you're laughing at. You've seen the post, haven't you? And then I'm curious. Did you have any, like, how does the education system work in Portugal, but what would happen like the last week of a year? Like, did you get a half day? Did you just finish to go on holiday?
So the last day of the year, always a Friday, obviously. We'd always have the morning classes, and then
Okay.
after that it'd be done. We'd even go, like, in my school, we so knew that that was going to be the thing, that we were just going to have the morning classes, then that we'd go on that day, we'd go dress up in beach shorts, flip-flops, towels on our backs, sunglasses, vest shirts, all that, just ready to get out of there, because it's a small country, therefore our cities are small. And when I say our cities are small, we'd get the bus right outside the school, and in 20 minutes we'd be on the beach. And that's what was happening every year in the last few years of high school. Like, we had one of the girls in my class, she had a beachside house. So those 3 years consecutively, every day of them, every final day of each semester, I guess you'd call it, because in Portugal we don't call it semesters, but that's a whole nother story. um, we got on the bus straight to her place, and we get food and go to the beach, and that's how we'd spend our last day of school. I don't know why you guys are having, because you said when this came out it was the last day of school. This came out in the UK on July 19th. Bro, we're out of
Yeah.
school early June.
Oh, really? Oh no,
Yes.
UK is schools are mid like second, third week July. That's how our academic
Early
system
mid
is.
June, and you're out until September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I've really got
But then-
6 weeks holiday.
But then I feel like this is such a stupid. I mean, now, especially now that I work in education, Christmas. I swear we used to get like a full week and a half before Christmas. Now they're like, well,
Yeah.
we can't
It's
get,
the
we
week
can't
of
make you,
Christmas normally.
we can't make you come in on December 24th. But if we could, we would. Like, I'm like, the weather outside is frightful, and I've got a date with Die Hard. Can we wrap this lesson up? Because like, you guys want to do something, I've got a pub to be in. They're like, sir, come on, can we go early? Come on, it's nearly Christmas. And I'm like, mate, I'm waiting for a Christmas dinner. Like, you think you got issues? Christmas is a time for me to get my drink on. Like, fuck you. But the summer's the same. I'm like, mate, it's boiling. Can we wrap these lessons up now?
We get 2 weeks from memory, 2 weeks December, 2 weeks at Easter, 6 weeks end of school time, and then a half term 1 week in each of those three. So
Yep.
early June would be beautiful, but no. And my birthday, John, so I was one of like the youngest in the year. And you hate that at school, but when you leave school, like, haha, I have a summer birthday. That's a lot better than anyone else.
There's someone with January 2nd.
Oh yeah,
The weather's crap, and
everyone's
it's
skin
crap.
as well.
Everyone's skint, and everyone's still hungover from New Year's. I'm like,
No one wants to do anything.
you know, even I don't want to. I'm like, I ain't got any money, man.
But yeah, that's our background to. I mean, I don't know if you guys know any of what we're going to talk about. So we're going to do behind the scenes, and I don't know how well this chat's going to go because I knew nothing about any behind the scenes on Pixar ever, pretty much until obviously I'm at the age where you know a little bit more about film and you're watching them as they're coming out. Everyone knew it's not boring, but everyone knew the Toy Story 2 story. Oh, it almost got deleted. It's like, oh, Aragorn broke his toe kicking a helmet. Is that sort of level of knowledge these days. Toy Story 3 had a wild production, and I did not know this. And I always wondered when I was younger, why is there such a gap? Why do you have to wait so long for Toy Story 3? But when you watch Toy Story 3 and you realise it's a film about Andy going to college, it kind of made sense that, like, yeah, because 11 years have passed, and you never thought of it. Obviously, Toy Story 5, different conversation for the summer, but it seems like Bonnie's still a baby or child or whatever she is. But that's a different conversation. We won't talk about her as more than we need to.
That little bitch.
But yeah, no. It's considering how she's in this one compared to 4 as well. Even Bonnie's completely different, if I'm allowed to say that.
I'm just mad that she abandoned Woody. If I was Andy, I'd be back and punch her in the face. That's what I do.
The opening scene of Toy Story 5, separate conversation, feels like it's like make or break. You know how the opening scene of Toy Story 4 is like, right, this is what happened to Bo Peep between Toy Story 2 and 3. If the opening scene of Toy Story 5 cannot be them undoing 4, because although that would be the correct scene to do,
but it can.
No, this is what I'm saying. It would completely destroy Toy Story 4 once and for all.
Good.
Can I just say, I know that this is a Toy Story 4 chat, but I have to say this, right? With Toy Story 4, the problem is everyone went, what happened to Bo Peep? And in a way, it it makes for a fun what if. Like, what if we found out what happened to Bo? And in a way, it would have made a great little short because I really like all the short films they did after.
Same.
And I really like Toy Story of Terror is really great. Toy Story That Time Forgot is amazing.
Yeah, that's my favorite.
I enjoy the really short ones. The one where Buzz goes up against all the little Happy Meal buzzers is great. The one where they think they're going on vacation is great. The shorts are great, and I was a bit like, why don't you just keep doing shorts? And Toy Story 4 feels like a collection of shorts. Like, what if they got lost at a theme park? Yeah, what if they got lost in an antique shop and there was a scary doll? Oh, that's a good one. What if there was a club full of abandoned toys? Oh, that's a good idea. What if they went to the theme park and there was these weird prizes that were like a duo? It's like, yeah, those are all really good. What if Bo Peep came back and she was completely different? But the thing is that and I know we're not talking about cast, but I just want to say, Tom Hanks's voice acting is so good. I don't think voice acting gets enough credit. But his delivery of when he's like, he's talking about people that they've lost, and then Rex goes, "Ambo," and then and it's like his voice breaks, and he's like, "Ambo." He's like, "Oh no, don't do that to my boy, would he? You can't just be dropping the girlfriend there."
Do you know why she wasn't
with a knife?
Do you know why she wasn't in Toy Story 3?
I found this out yesterday. I don't remember off the top of my head.
Because you can't donate a fucking lamp to a daycare centre.
Well, probably
here's a porcelain lamp! Crack! Someone slashes their throat. Oh no!
Because she's porcelain, she couldn't have survived the trash compactor scene at the end. So they wrote her out of the film. So then you get to Toy Story 4, and it's like, well, now that she could clearly have actually survived it because she knows kung fu.
So wait, so that literally confirms the only reason they made Toy Story 4 was because someone asked, "Well, where was Bo Peep in Toy Story 3?" No one knows asking that question.
And also, we need to make money.
Well, yeah, but that's always there.
That's not that dress that she wears that she doesn't have in Toy Story 4. That's not like it's part of the actual porcelain.
Yeah.
How is it gone? Also, I would love a world in which she was in Toy Story 3 and she gets smashed, and at the end it's just Woody holding just her face, but it's still talking. It's like that episode of Doctor Who.
With a crack on it.
She's just a paving slab.
That's
just Korg.
That would be like a new era
on the back of someone's head.
It'd be in like a new era of horror. Just that scene. But yeah, that's why she's. This is what I found out last night. There was so much behind the scenes on this film, and if you're curious about the in between Toy Story 2 and 3, and this did surprise me too. So when Disney and Pixar first made the deal for the first film, Disney's contract included the fact that they would own all the rights to the films and the rights of all the characters in Pixar, even though it was a 7-pitch contract. Mm-hmm. And when that was being renewed, things were pretty bad between Pixar and Disney, with Steve Jobs obviously at the helm of that. Disney decided that they would go and make their own Toy Story 3. And I'm not as well versed with the Disney animated as others will be. But Circle 7 Animation, which was their name, who basically made all of the spin-offs, like the direct to VHS sequels of those films from the 90s. Mm. Is it like a Lion King 1.5 or something?
Yeah.
Like there's like 4 or 5
of them. 1.5, the Mulan 2. Yeah.
Bambi 2, Patch's London Adventure, underrated. Some of them are good. When are we doing that series, George? The Disney straight to DVD retrospective. Bagsy Atlantis, Milo's Return.
Oh no!
I haven't even seen half the original films of those, let alone the sequels. That's my problem.
I will not be watching Mulan 2. Never again.
I won't be watching any of them, if I'm allowed to say.
Beauty and the Beast Enchanted Christmas is great because Tim Curry voices a pipe organ.
Oh, you told me about that one, though. You have told me about that one.
And also, Lion King 2 is legitimately great.
Yeah.
And I've had
that. Lion King 1.5. 1.5.
That's the 1.5.
It's legitimately great with actually some properly decent... Like, the songs are actually not bad. They're not Elton John, but they're not bad. but still, the downgrade from Pixar to Circle 7.
Yeah, that's like that just feels like pettiness, like a negotiation tactic. Like, hey, if you don't help us,
100% pettiness.
this is with them. But Circle 7 came up with 2 stories, and I did not know any of this. This is like discovering new lore at an older age. So the first story idea, and guys, I think you're all going to say a film after this, which is going to be like that Muppets conversation. But story number 1, I'm just going to read it as I put it on the schedule. Andy's toys would be put at his grandparents as his bedroom is being redecorated. Each night, one of his toys would go missing, and the film would be a whodunits murder mystery.
So
all I can think about is a toy of
I
Benoit Blanc.
suspect.
Yeah, like animated Benoit
It's
Blanc.
an Etch-a-Sketch voiced by Daniel Craig. I suspect foul play with the toys.
I don't know who's taken them away, but apparently Disney loved the idea, and at one point, wait for it, that was their Toy Story 4 idea, which is also terrifying.
How much better than what we got?
Oh, but then we've got this one, which I'm also unsure of. Story idea 2.
Okay.
Andy's Buzz Lightyear has become recalled toy. Buzz Lightyear is a little bit damaged.
Oh, okay.
They would send him to Taiwan. Last week we spoke about Venezuela. This week Taiwan. Context. And he'd be sent to Taiwan to be fixed. The toys would then ship themselves to Taiwan to rescue Buzz.
Of course.
And they would then meet other recalled toys.
I quite like that.
Sounds exactly like Toy Story 2.
Yeah.
It's just a movie full of different Wheezies. Just like, my arm doesn't work very well, but I'm still great to be played with. Those wind-up toys, but they just can't. The teeth just can't stop chattering.
And there is concept art of the recalled Buzz Lightyear, but I'm also sat there like, really, they're going to recall him 15 years later?
Is that not partially the plot of Toy Story 5? I swear I saw.
Toy Story 5 is about the iPad. There is a big group of Buzz Lightyears, but it's unknown, and I cannot wait.
Yeah,
because it looked like my version of Predator, where all the Buzzes are in a jungle, and all I can think of is the Predator music in the background. But yeah, there's going to be a shipping container of Buzz Lightyears in Toy Story 5. There's no other context. I hope it's not just a random, like, in Ice Age, they'd cut to the squirrel on a random separate storyline. I hope it's not like that. But these were the stories that Disney were working themselves.
I knew about that one, the recalled Buzz one. I didn't know about the murder mystery. And also, I know you said that the negotiations, and you said 7 films. Is Cars the 7th film? Is that
Cars,
what?
It is the 7th film.
Toy Story, A Bug's Life, Toy Story 2, Monsters Inc., Finding Nemo, Incredibles, Cars. Is that why the negotiations were falling through? Because Cars flopped, sorry, Jed. And we shit, sorry, Jed.
Oh no, Cars made them a shit ton of money. That's the problem.
Cars made money, that's the problem.
But before Cars, they were... I'm assuming Disney wanted to buy Pixar. I'm just assuming it was like the whole time. Like they were trying to get something.
So it's not because Cars was wank. Sorry, Jed.
No, they loved it. They made 3 of them. And that is interesting because following the production... following Disney's acquisition of Pixar, John Lasseter would be made head of animation division across the whole. And Circle 7 was immediately shut down, which sounds like there was definitely an agenda there. And their version of the film was cancelled. Lee Unkrich was announced as the director. Michael Arndt hired to write because John Lasseter had prioritised directing Cars 2 over Toy Story 3.
Shame, Clang. Shame, Clang. Sorry, Jed.
It worked out for us on this video. That's what I'm going to say. But there's the behind the scenes, and I'm going to throw you one more. And I don't know about this, and I've been trying to find evidence, and I would be showing you a photo otherwise. The original idea for Toy Story 3, alongside Lotso, included the return of Stinky Pete as the secondary antagonists.
Oh.
And apparently, this is what's lost me, because I was up at 3 a.m, not just to find Stinky Pete, but to look more. He is apparently on one of the original Toy Story 3 posters, and it had got that far into production where they had brought back, oh my god, I've forgotten his name. Kelsey Grammer had returned to voice him. So it wasn't there was an idea. There somewhere, I'm not saying release the Stinky Pete cut, but I believe that Stinky Pete is out there. And on a
Ooh.
Reddit thread I ended up on, someone said they had found a poster with Stinky Pete on top of the IMDb trivia section.
Yeah.
But I cannot find said poster. I don't know if it's a collective one of like 100 characters, but I could not find it anywhere. And if I want to go back to my memories, the Toy Story 3 PS3 game, which was incredible, had Stinky Pete as a character inside of it in the toy box area.
Oh, okay.
So,
I
Paul
noticed
is absolutely fuming that he could have had Stinky Pete back. I know you love Kelsey Grammer as well.
Do you know what? And hey, great voices go beyond politics because I disagree with his politics, but I love Kelsey Grammer and I love Stinky Pete. He's one of my favourite villains, and I like Lotso though. Got a lot of love for Lotso as a baddie. He's got a lot of love for Lotso, but it's Stinky Pete. Stinky Pete.
I'm glad he's not. I don't think it needed him.
No, it didn't.
No.
It didn't at all.
In
And I think
really
it would
nice
have
way.
detracted from. It would have detracted from how compelling Lotso was.
Yes.
And he's because he's got a similar beef, but well, he's not. He was
Envy,
a bandit,
isn't it?
so it is envy. And also, I really like the way Ned Beatty plays him as this big Southern dandy. Like, I really enjoy him using the little hammer as a walker. I think he's a great character, and I also think that voice, because I love Ned Beatty. He's a great actor. God rest his soul. But I like the way that he does the turn from being like, "Hi guys, I'm a really friendly teddy bear," to being like, "Put him in the box." I'm like, "Oh shit, dang, you're a bad guy."
It's like a grandparent that like turns on you. They're like, "Oh, I've been told off now." It's that, and I've got so much to say about Sunnydale because there's a lot with this film, and there's one shot which is one of my favorites actually of all the Toy Stories. But we want to talk the animation, something which I think is very noticeable. So obviously, so far has passed since 2000, well, since 1999. Yeah, it's a different century. The original character models for Toy Story are not accessible because the software is so far outdated they can't be opened. I think we've all been there at least one point in our lives, folks. When you get an app that used to be great and it's like, no, this isn't supported anymore. They had to remodel and reanimate every single character within Toy Story, which I'm going to be really honest, I think is a great thing because it allowed apparently more. I don't know if people agree with this. It allowed more emotive facial expressions because it was obviously a new character model as of assuming the late noughties versus the probably what was an upgraded mid 90s model.
Yeah,
and it is quite remarkable the jump in animation quality between Toy Story 2 and 3. I know that is still 11 years, and that's a long time for a new studio with new technologies.
Yeah.
But it's the jump from 3 to 4, not in terms of story, in terms of animation.
Yeah.
It isn't that drastic because they've already reached this incredible level at the point of Toy Story 3.
True.
Yeah, it's for me, it's right at the limit of where I'm like, they're too expressive.
That's why I said it might not be for everyone, because there is also a caveat which I did think I was like, for toys,
they've got very yeah. I mean, like I say, Toy Story 3 is right at the limit where I'm like, if you push the expressions any further, you're going to lose me, and that's when you get to Toy Story 4, and I'm like, no, now they're just people, just very, very small people.
There's some great ones. The one thing I love with 4, sorry, it's a different video, is when you get the different era toys. And I like the antique shop for that. I know you only get a Ken of Star Wars figure in it for one moment, but it's like a toy that actually is like, was it 6-piece? I don't know what the time is for like figures, action figures, but
articulation.
Yeah, and that's where I think Toy Story 3 and the others is when it's the more modern stuff. The toys are almost not toys anymore. Although I loved the telephone. I know it's a Fisher-Price telephone, but I just love that, like, we have a Fisher-Price telephone in this now. And he's like a shady neo-noir detective. Like, it's great. So I love that. I don't know who the voice actor is. I love that. But,
do you know what I do like is that Toy Story 3 brings back a lot of the horror of Toy Story. Like, that monkey fucked up.
Yeah.
That monkey is fucked up. And do you know what else is messed up? Mr. Potato Head with his eyes in a bloody tortilla. No.
Not as bad as the Pepperami.
It is. He looks like when they put it into a was it like a zucchini or a
It's the old Peperamis from when we were younger. Do you
yeah,
remember they used to have that thing with the mouth that you'd get like a toy at the World Cup with, and it'd be the
yeah,
Pepperami shouting on the TV adverts. It was that.
yeah. It's messed up, man. Mr.
It's
Potato
great,
Head in a tortilla is messed up and haunts my dreams. And that monkey, like, I don't want any toys to die except that monkey. That monkey can die.
There's so much work, and we'll get into the Daycast stuff shortly. But the last thing I'll say, we talk the animation before we get into the story and dive into some characters. We spoke a lot recently, Ren, when we did Wall-E, we spoke about how the Pixar artists for research were sent to like recycling facilities. They were able to see how recycling factories worked. For Ratatouille, they were sent to Paris to dine on the high lives for a week. For Up, me and Neil spoke really well. They were sent to Venezuela, thankfully not today, in 2000 something. They were sent there to sketch insects, mountains, and rocks for 3-4 days. And for Toy Story 3, they didn't even leave California. They were sent to landfill incinerators to do their research. And apparently, the different production teams within Pixar would like mock them because everyone else was like doing everything.
Yeah.
And these like didn't even get to step outside of California, outside of Tip. And it took them 18 months to do the research and development for the incinerator sequence, which I'm gonna really praise. I'm sure we'll get into that scene later, but to know they spent that long into what is maybe 10 minutes of the film, but the most important 10 minutes maybe of the Toy Story series, what could have been the end of the series, I really appreciate. And it goes to show that without the knowledge of those things, you get a newfound respect for what you're watching. Mm-hmm. And obviously they didn't want the incinerator to look real either. Like they had to make the point that we want it to basically be like they're going to hell. Like these guys are going to get burnt alive. There is a fire in the middle. That's not how they work in real life. But some of the other ideas and how the sites work is what they played with. I'm assuming you don't have a giant magnet. I could be wrong on that.
But a massive claw.
Maybe they will. Yeah.
A claw.
I love those guys. The best. Love the alien. I used to have them before I had to make a lot of financial changes in my life. I actually don't mind saying this. The biggest regret, which had me looking again on eBay last night, is it's called the Toy Story Signature Collection.
Yes.
I had the Buzz Lightyear many years ago.
Hell yeah.
I love that they come in the proper boxes like in the movie. I've got a Mr. Pricklepants in his little stage box. Yeah, I've still got the box. Oh yeah. Oh, he's Stinky Pete. Never been opened.
This is it.
I think he bullies all the other toys in the house.
When I moved up to this floor, I made the choice because room didn't have space, couldn't do it because I had the aliens and I had Buzz. I made a very, I'd say, adult call to call it a day, cash in. Because I'm not going to get the Woody, I'm not going to get Jesse or Bullseye.
Yeah.
Or Zurg.
I'm the same.
You see, they've never done a Zurg, and this
they're not.
And it turns out Think Away Toys, who had the original Toy Story license for decades, they went bust and closed in 2021. Because I was wondering, I was like, oh, are they going to re-release it all in 2025 when the new one's out? Maybe they will, but I've always sat there like, if they'd have done. Because I know that the Disney store has like the £30-40 versions, which are like obviously more casual for kids to play with, but the collector ones, there was a bucket of soldiers.
I saw those.
As you said, they've done so many of them. I would love it if I'd have been at this age now and this collection started now. I'd have probably had all of them because the retail prices were actually quite good.
Prickle Pants was the one that I was like, I really want a Mr. Prickle Pants. I really want that. And then I saw it in the box, and I was like, I want it in the box. I want that one.
Yeah, I know that they did it for Toy Story 4 with what's his name? Keanu Reeves.
Duke Kaboom.
Duke Kaboom. They did that packaging because I almost got it, and that's why I was like, no, because if I get Duke Kaboom, I'm then going to need to get all the other characters. So it opened up a can.
I mean, if you go to a carnival, you can just get the duck and the bunny. Like,
yeah, true.
Well, this is it. Like,
I don't want to praise Toy Story 4, but they made those toys look cheap as fuck, and I was like, wow, you've really nailed how cheap those fairground toys look. Like, well done on that one, guys.
I think
they are the best part of that movie. I will say that much.
Yeah.
I think they just wanted Key and Peele. which I love. I love them too.
Who
But
does?
if we talk about some of the story, because we've done the behind the scenes, and maybe this is where we're going to get deep about our lives. The stories to Toy. Honestly, the Up discussion me and Neil had. That was a tough one. I'm not going to lie. No, don't, because it's coming back. And we also were mocking and laughing at the fact that there were more rumors that day that Kathleen Kennedy was going to leave Lucasfilm, and we laughed. And the day after we recorded, she officially stepped down. So I've had to like edit over the video to be like, "Come look at the Lucasfilm discussion of giant arrows." But yeah, thanks Neil for reminding me. I was laughing at that because I look like a right idiot when that's recorded like 3 weeks before it goes up. But the story of Toy Story 3. Let's talk. Ren, you made a great comment earlier. The story is of Andy going to college. He's too old for his toys. He hasn't played with them for years. They're
There's no
desperate
such
to be played
thing.
with. I think this is the best possible film they could have ever done. And I know that's easy to say 16 years later, right? Toy Story 1 is the introduction to this world. Toy Story 2 is this great sequel. And I understand why they didn't pad it with more sequels. But when you bring Toy Story 3 and it is about adulthood, and for me, and we're all similar ages, we are at that point of life experiencing in 2010. Okay, I'm in secondary school. I'm in year 9. So I know I'm a couple of years old before I'm going to go off to uni or do whatnot. And at this point in time, I don't have all my toys out, all my collectible stuff. They're in the garage. It's pre-Disney buying Star Wars, where I had a job and could buy merchandise, whereas I couldn't as a kid. And I love this idea of like what happens. And every time I watch this film, I have this sense of guilt, knowing full well that the toys aren't real. I'm just always sat there thinking like, I can never get rid of my childhood toys.
Yeah.
And anyway, the really special ones, which is basically just Star Wars. But also, and I did want it for this video, but I couldn't get it. I have some original Toy Story toys as well from the 90s in that garage. I've got an Emperor Zurg, I've got a Buzz Lightyear, and an RC. I think a Woody as well. And I would love to get them out to find out what year they were and see what the packaging would have been and stuff like that. But I have this horrible sense of guilt whenever I watch this film, because what if they were real and I've abandoned them? And all I could think about would be like Daniel Day-Lewis, like I've abandoned my toys.
I've abandoned my toys! That should be a sketch.
I've abandoned my
That should be a-
toys! I've abandoned my toys!
That is Toy Story 5 opening scene. Andy
Yeah.
when he finds out his partner's pregnant.
And beating the
Yeah.
shit out of Bonnie.
But
Bonnie, you freak that doesn't age. What have you done to my toys? You've had them for 15 years, you unaging freak. I'm
She's a Time Lord.
No!
I mean, I'm handing over to you guys like the core of the story. Where are you at with it before we even get to the toys and what they're up to? Just the Andy side of things.
Well,
It's perfect.
it's perfect. It makes it all compelling because other than that, yes, you spoke about like the other ideas that Disney had, and yeah, fun. I can see that as a Toy Story movie. I think what makes Toy Story 3 so special, especially with its legacy, we're still raving about it 16 years later, is that the story feels logical and it actually feels like the audience grew up with Andy. And yeah, you know, the lesson is don't give your toys away. Put them in the garage, put them in the basement, whatever. But you're just not gonna have much time to play with them anymore because now it's gonna be study. It actually like contemplates on what that abandonment is, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I do love is I love the opening sequence because I love any time that you see Andy's imagination and how like what he is visualizing. I think that's just such a great opening, and I really enjoy that. And I really enjoy the montage you get of him through the years. One sight gag that cracks me up. Well, there's two in that sequence. One, he puts the popcorn in Rex's mouth and it immediately falls out. Makes me laugh every time. And when he's done the little measuring of the heights, and it's like Slinky's butt, always gets me. But it's the end of that sequence when they're playing "You've Got a Friend in Me," which immediately brings the nostalgia, and then it fades out and just has Randy Newman go, "A friendship will never die," and you're like, "Fuck." Yeah, this is so depressing already. Woody holding onto the the
phone.
mobile phone, and then he like pulls it
Yeah.
off. It's
Yeah.
like, this is so horrible. I do love Buster, and then it's a fat old dog
Oh
comes
yeah.
towards
That's what
me.
I
gets.
always feel so bad.
I
I
know.
always feel
I
so
love
sad
it.
being Buster like that.
It's
I love
it's
it.
it adds to the realism, right? Because if you've
Yeah.
had a dog, you've seen in the 10-year period dogs growing old, and
Mhm.
obviously they get the puppy at the end of Toy Story 1, and in Toy Story 3 it's older, and it's funny because it's a great comedy, but it's so real at the same time.
Yeah.
And
It
I think
is
every
Well,
conscious story is something I should have said earlier. Sorry, that when Pixar were bought by Disney, it turned out that Pixar had this idea for Toy Story 3 already for years, but they had no intention of sharing it. They didn't
Yeah.
want anyone to know. They wanted to keep it their way until they knew, okay, we're going to make the film now, let's do it. And apparently, it
Yeah.
wasn't out of a disrespectful thing to Circle 7. It was we were never ever going to do something Disney had you guys doing. It was always Pixar's third Toy Story film, which is
Yeah.
correct
Right
as
on.
well.
And
Bang on
also,
correct.
I love the fact that the bin man is Sid. I love that.
Yeah.
He didn't deserve it, man. He's probably still got like a deep rooted PTSD.
No, he's just rocking out, still wearing the Skull t-shirt, man.
He
Like,
makes good money, man. He's okay.
you got a style. You rock that style for the rest of your life. And also the fact that they got Eric von Statten back just to go bam bam. It's like, I bet you got paid a decent wedge just to bam bam for a couple of hours, didn't you? Good for you, man. Good for you. I love
Imagine
the
he
fact
got
that
like
they
a
got.
box office percentage.
I like the fact that they brought back the guy who voiced Andy as a kid to voice him as a
Yes.
teenager. Because like, if it was done now, that would be like Timmy Chalamet or like Jacob Elordi. Like they wouldn't get the original kid.
Yeah.
They'd be like, "Now we'll get someone famous," and it's like, yeah, but like, get the kid, man. Like,
Get someone
get
famous to go pow pow pow.
yeah, like, but yeah, I love that Andy's just voiced by that kid from 15 years ago, and yeah, I also do you know what? There is another gag I love in the whole trash bag sequence is when he's like, you know, they're like, they were going to throw us in the attic. They were going to put you in the attic. The trash is for washed up toys that nobody likes. And then it cuts to Barbie crying. And Mr. Potato just goes, quite the charmer, aren't you? That gets me every time.
And Ham Bagsy's the Corvette as well.
I get the
Which is,
Corvette.
I mean, what I think I love about it is it's 1 hour 40, right? And we've got this quite heavy opening. I mean, I love the opening of here's Andy's sequence of him playing. They wanted to do it for Toy Story 1 and they couldn't. Totally understandable as to why. Toy Story 1 didn't need it. The kid's imagination is what's important. That Toy Story 3, yeah, you've got the budget, the money, and the knowledge of that IP. Even though it just goes to show that Buzz Lightyear is the most overpowered and is correct, the best of them all. Because he basically comes into the cheat code at the end.
What do you really think, George?
I love Buzz. He's my favourite. There was someone...
The orphans!
Yeah, the Cabbage Patch Kids for their head out. Oh, is it Cabbage Patch Kids?
No, it's
Or is
trolls. It's trolls.
It's the hair.
It's trolls. It's just the bit where he goes, no, the orphans, and it's just like, God, this film's so good.
It's so funny, and I think how quick the plot goes with it after the fact that the toy. I mean, Andy's clearly just a bit embarrassed to still like his toys, which everyone probably went through at some point in their teen years. You know, all the toys accidentally getting put in the trash, thinking they're going to go out on the road, they want to get out of here. It's so quick when we get to Sunnyside, and it's actually quite a genius way. I mean, if you think about Toy Story 1, it's a really simple story about toys on an adventure, the imagination of children, one of them a bit more darker imagination with the toy versus the kid, the playful one. Toy Story 2, a film about collectors. Toy Story 3, a film about, you know, what do you do with toys? Like, we have it here when we have clear outs. We take stuff to charity shops, whether it be books or something else. I wouldn't ever donate my toys, so that's not happening. I've got a niece on the way. My older sister knows Star Wars, and I just said, well, even if it was a boy, I wouldn't be giving him my Star Wars toys anyway. I'll be that kind of. He'll be bought some new stuff, but he won't be getting my stuff. So, Sunnyside. Let's take the toys here. I've got to say, the concept of, without knowing it at the opening, the fact there are two year groups theoretically, let's just say in the nursery because we're in England. you've got this haven with Lotso. Everything's beautiful. My favorite shot, I mentioned, my favorite shot of the entire film is Rex and all the other dinosaurs. Like, he's so happy. There's like 10 dinosaurs in a circle and they're all like waving their little hands together. I thought it
And
was so
the
funny.
fact that they're all tiny, little, cheaply made ones as well. And Rex
Yeah.
is like a proper toy. Do you know what I do love about that? It's so well observed what sort of toys would get donated to like a nursery. Like the
Mhm.
fact that
Yeah.
if you donated like a doll baby, it wouldn't have any clothes. It would just have that weird plastic arms and legs and head, and then that weird soft body. It just would. Like it's very well observed.
They make over 300 toys for this like, in animation, which is the most they've ever done, which is totally understandable. And it's that haven. I mean, we'll get to your favorite later, Paul. I know we're gonna have a big chat about him, but the, I just think the approach to this was great, and then to get it's kind of a twist. Like, yeah, you guys go off to your room for your toys, and it's almost shot like the Jurassic Park T-Rex reveal that when the kids are coming back from recess, when you
Yeah.
notice the toys are starting to hide, they're in the bucket.
Oh my god,
Rex
it's
is
so
at the
good.
door. And it's like a horror film, like when they're playing with them toys, like dipping Jesse in paint. Oh, it is absolute chaos. And I love it because that's exactly how it probably would be. And
Yeah.
I've not been to a nursery,
That's
obviously,
exactly
since I was
what
a
happens.
baby, but it would happen. It's like, of course, the older, more mature 4-year-olds would be really caring, polite, and calm.
Yeah.
And of course, the toddlers are going to be insane.
Sticking Potato Head's eyes up their nose.
And trying
like
to
when it
bite
licks,
Buzz's
licking Buzz
head, and
Lightyear's.
I can't because of the dome.
It's so funny, it's grotesque, and it's realistic. And I think this is what the film does so well. And to then choose to turn the film from that into almost like a mafia tale with Lotso, like he's atop of the pyramid of Sunnydale.
Well, he's
Like-
an oligarch, a rich man who wants to segregate toys into.
Well, and
another room.
also at a certain point, it becomes a bit of a prison escape film. Like when he
Yeah.
locks them away, he's the prison warden. He's the warden in Shawshank. He's like,
This
you're
is
not
Shawshank
getting out of here.
Redemption, but Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
what without jumping too far ahead, it's the prison stuff I love. Apparently all the Pixar team were watching Prison Breakout films when they were doing research
Makes
for this.
sense.
Nice.
Makes a lot of sense. We have to talk about it's part. I know I'm going for the plot, but I kind of want to make sure we get through everything before we get to the end. We get the introduction of Bonnie in this through Woody. That her mom, her mom works at the reception. She's obviously took toys from there before, and she encounters Woody, who's failed on his great escape to get out. And then we get taken to Bonnie's home to see Bonnie's toys, and Woody gets to be played with, and there's actually a decent group of toys. I'm going to say it. Timothy Dalton as a thespian Mr. Pricklepants. I love, and what this does, it would have been so easy to replicate Andy 2.0, right?
Mhm.
Oh, look, there's this really nice kid who's imaginative and plays with the toys. But this is a young girl in a different generation to Andy. And let's just say she's a bit more sophisticated with her playtime because I'm thinking of Timothy Dalton. I love that you get to see the imagination of the child again, doing something a little bit different to what we've seen before, and seeing a little bit of the technology side with like Roxy and the online. What do you guys think of the Bonnie stuff before, obviously?
No, I'm joking. I love Bonnie's toys. As much as I do not like Bonnie, I really love Bonnie's toys. Like you said, I think they're a lovely group. I think once you get to the rest of Andy's toys coming over and they meet each other, it's like the groups complement each other really well. It's like it was by design or something. And I think this on paper, you look at this moment, this scene where Woody is just with them at her place, and it's very much a scene where, on the hands of a lesser filmmaker, it could have been the lull in the film, like, oh, this is just what needs to happen for us to get back to the story, but feeds into the story and what the story is being told in this film really beautifully. I find.
Yeah, I mean, I like the fact that they've got a different dynamic. So like Woody's toys and I've said this, like I think Lee Unkrich said that they're basically like an office. Like Woody's like the manager, and then you've
Michael
got your kind of office kind of jerk. You got your office guy that's kind of lazy, the neurotic, they've got that will they won't they Pam
Mhm.
and Jim thing going on with Bonnie, and that the first one's all about what happens when a new boss comes in and there's a new manager, and then you go to Sunnyside and it's like it's the mafia.
Yeah.
There's this guy, he's at the top, he's got his muscle, which is the big baby, he's got all his little cronies like the chunk and the weird muscular fly thing,
Yeah.
and Whoopi Goldberg as a sticky octopus, and Ken, who I will go on about at length because he's the greatest character in the Toy Story franchise. He is. And then when you go to Bonnie's, they're like a troupe of actors. They're like the fact that they're like, just hang loose, keep it free and easy, just have
They're
fun, man.
carnies.
And I love that. I also love that she's got a massive Totoro. Like the little doff of the cap to Studio Ghibli and Disney's kind of relationship with Studio Ghibli is great. And anytime I see a Totoro, I'm like, my boy. And the new characters I really like. I love Trixie the dinosaur. I love Buttercup because I love Jeff Garland's voice, especially that bit where he's like, "How do we get out?" There is no way out. I'm just kidding. Doors over there. It's like that's such a dick. And I love Mr. Pricklepants because I love this idea that they're all like kind of improv actors. You've got this one thespian toy that takes his role really seriously for no reason. And Timothy Dalton is. Have you ever seen the behind the scenes of them recording?
Yes,
And it's him in the studio by himself going, shh, shh, shh. Shall I do it again? It's like, what the fuck?
I think because of his Bond. I mean, Dalton's a fascinating one because I don't think he's after Lazenby, he's the most least popular Bond. Is that fair to say to the world audience?
The second
An amazing
best
Bond.
Bond.
Because he's a thespian, he modelled his adaptation, his version of the books, the more darker approach, the more as they were by Fleming. He's never had the commercial success with films. I mean, at this point in time, of course, he's done Hot Fuzz, which he's amazing in. And I love that for someone that's so guarded with so few media appearances, who doesn't do big commercial films, to take on a role in Toy Story, a very small role, probably a day's work. I love the fact like he had a bit of fun, and he's continued to come back. And he'd always been the one I thought it'd be a one and done. Like I couldn't.
I think he enjoys it. The thing is, I think he's got a good sense of humor about him. Like the thing as well is, although he took Bond, like he's like, we're going to go back to the books. He's an alcoholic. He's a womanizer. He hates himself. He's suicidal, basically. He's consistently lampooned Bond through pretty much his entire. Like, if you look at the Rocketeer, he's kind of lampooning Bond. Looney Tunes back in action. He is James Bond. He is James Bond in the underrated Looney Tunes back in action. Even to a degree in Hot Fuzz, he's there because he's James Bond.
Yeah.
And I just love the fact that it's just that you've got this voice because he's got such a good voice. Like he's got such a deep, resonant voice, and it's coming out of a hedgehog and lederhosen. It's like I honestly think with this one in particular, because Pixar are where they are, and they've had the success they've had, and they're riding the high of Up, which was like fucking. It was Up. It was up for Best Picture. Like it's Up. That I reckon they had the pick of the acting world that they could be like, do you want to come in for like 5 days, play a hedgehog and lederhosen? It's like a really kind of up themselves actor, and I reckon any actor would be like, I would love to do that. That sounds like a lot of fun. And that whole troupe is a great cast of new characters.
Yeah,
I think that's what it does. That you look at Toy Story 2, they introduced Jessie, Bullseye. It's expanding that world. Even with the Owl's Toy Barn, which is one of my favorite sequences. Toy Story 3, you've got the whole daycare, and then you've got Bonnie stuff as well. They're able to continue growing it, which I think Ford does it to its credit. I will say that. Like, again, it's that new environment. Who can we bring into this? And that's why I'm so curious and equally so nervous by 5, because I love the concept of what happens when we bring technology and an iPad into it. But I'm also sat there, like, again, we've only had a teaser trailer so far. I'm so excited to see what new toys are they going to be then? What else are you going to do? And it's a really interesting idea and premise for this, and certainly with this one, where they then go with them toys, leading up to the breakout, leading up to. Before we get into specific characters, let's get this out of the way. The fact that in 2010, for about 2 minutes, I actually thought they're going to kill the entire cast of Toy Story.
Oh yeah,
They so specifically left everyone off. It really enhances Lotso as a villain, that after being saved, after giving him the opportunity, the boost, he still wants them to die, which is remarkable. And the music, which we'll get to later, which I think is really no one ever talks about this side of Randy Newman's work, but when they hold hands and they just my voice is going, gents. I'm not going to cry, but when they're holding hands,
you know what's even better about that bit for me is, and it comes back into like Guardians of the Galaxy, when Woody's like, we should leave, and Buzz is like, well, do you know what? We're going to stay, but if you want to go, that's your choice. And Buzz holds out his hand for Woody to shake, and instead of shaking it, he does his hat and walks off. Yeah, and then at the very end, the last thing that happens when they're about to die, Buzz holds out his hand to Woody, and Woody finally takes it. That is beautiful. Like, in that last moment, I'm about to cry. He corrects the wrong that he had at the beginning of the film. That is lovely. And also, because the whole movie's basically just their bromance. And I love the fact that they, without even talking, they all hold hands and they're like, it's go time. As a family, let's do this.
Family.
And also, they hold that sequence for ages. Like as a 16-year-old, I didn't realize it. But now that I'm a parent, like watching that with my son, and he's properly like looking at me going, are they going to die? And I'm like, I mean, I've seen this about 100 times and they haven't the past 99 times. But I don't know. Maybe they are. maybe 100th time they're going to change it.
What they do so well, which almost adds to the horror, is when the aliens see the claw, and obviously it's teasing what's to come. When the aliens see the claw and they get absolutely obliterated by an oncoming truck, and you just sat there like, because let's say normally, right, they'd have intercut with the aliens would have seen the claw and gone, but the fact we see them getting wiped out.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh no, like there's peril here. It's and obviously them saving the day. I love it. I've spoke about it so much. Like I've always loved the aliens. I love them in all the films. They are some of the most wonderful. I know they're not glup shittos in Star Wars term, but I love how such a minor irrelevance of the first one. Right, they're just these things in a machine, and one of them gets murdered by the dog.
I've been chosen. They're so great.
It's so
also, they're not, they never make the mistake that I think Blue Sky makes and Illumination makes, which is in the first film, we had this really funny thing, like we had this funny little squirrel that we thought was kind of funny. Let's really, really ram him down the audience throats forever. Oh, it's not funny anymore then. We had these little yellow corn-looking motherfuckers in dungarees. Oh. And they were quite funny. They just go, blue, blue, and everyone laughs. It's like, let's make them the focus of the franchise. It's like, oh, well, they're not funny anymore. They were funny when they just kind of went banana in the background. The aliens, they're used sparingly.
Yeah,
they have a couple of funny bits in the first one. The Mystic Portal. Use the wand of power. Like, these are great. And I do love at the very end when the potato heads go, you saved our lives, and we are eternally grateful. My boys! I love it. Daddy!
Daddy!
Just that. That's a great little, like, flipping the thing. That was also, I do love the bit where when Buzz finally comes back from being, like, factory reset as Spanish, and he's like, where have I been? And they're like, beyond infinity. I'm like, this is well written. It's a well written movie.
I mean, Michael Arndt, who wrote this is his second ever screenplay, and his first was, is it Goodbye Miss Sunshine? I've never seen it.
Hello? No? Wait.
Hello, something Sunshine 2006. He was nominated for original screenplay for his first ever film. Toy Story 3, second film, nominated for adapted screenplay.
He wrote Little Miss Sunshine.
Little Miss Sunshine, that's it. And I think you are right. The script is great, and the story and everything that comes with it. It isn't pandering to audiences.
No,
It
no,
isn't pandering to the merch. I mean, Toy Story is printing merchandise. You don't need to make anything specific. It's not like Star Wars, right? Where you want to put a character in a variant to then get a variant toy.
Yeah.
Toy Story is like they're going to sell all year round every year, but you'll get a little bit more when it's the year where there's the new film to come. But what they do with this story, I mean, if we talk about properly some of the characters, yeah, I mean, let's talk properly about some of the characters now. I know we've spoke a lot already, but Woody, voiced by Tom Hanks, his third time. At the time, was paid $15 million, the highest paid ever for a voice role, which is understandable with clearly the money this film had gone to make. And at the time, this was clearly going to be
it
the
was
biggest
his
animated
fourth
film.
time, by the way, not third time. It was his fourth time because he is in the intro to the underrated Buzz Lightyear at Star Command movie.
I thought that's his brother. Did they actually get Tom Hanks? They get Tom Hanks' brother to do loads of his other Toy Story work.
I don't know.
He does the video games. Is it Jim Hanks?
Oh, I can't remember.
I've always heard Tom Hanks when he speaks in that brief moment.
The brother sounds a lot for when normally it's so obvious when it's a different actor. Tom Hanks' brother.
Hey, Buzz Lightyear is Buzz Lightyear is Star Command. You don't want to go to infinity and beyond, Buzz Lightyear.
Also,
Zerg, get out of my face.
Not to shit on Tim Allen. Apparently, Tim Allen was the first member of the cast to be like, I'd still do Toy Story if it wasn't Pixar, when the Disney stuff was kicking off.
To be fair,
I mean, they'd have all done it.
He's a piece of shit, but he is good as Buzz.
Because I know we've had our Toy Story 4 rant. I will 1,000% maintain this, that Lightyear died the day it was not. I'm not going Chris Evans, but Lightyear died the day it was not Tim Allen. And whilst Tim Allen is wrong to say, "Oh, I've been cancelled, it's Hollywood," when he was literally making a Disney series of a character he'd played in the 90s already, it was clearly we're trying to cash in on the Marvel factor, and unfortunately, that's not how it works. And I think there's a big lesson learned, I hope, from that. Not that we're going to get any more Lightyear films.
It was kind of funny that he was like, "I've been cancelled," and it's like, okay, so do you want us to watch the clauses premiering Disney Plus Christmas 2023? No.
Was it a launch show? Like, it was there early. Like, he was there from the get go. And this is what lost me a bit. But with Woody in this, you guys know me. I've never cared for Woody as a character. I'm sorry. Like, it's not like the Cowboys versus Aliens sci-fi, but I've always been Team Buzz. In the garage, so at my old job, I got a Secret Santa present, and I'm being very honest. I can't remember her name. She's lovely. We used to always joke in the office because I had these Buzz Lightyear vans, and I'd wear them all the time. And she's like Woody. I didn't like Woody. I like Buzz. And she got me for Secret Santa, and she did a really nice homemade thing. She'd made a photo frame, painted it green and purple, and she'd done some like Buzz Lightyear art print inside of it. And you know, it's like effort versus just buying something. And it's sat there in the garage. It's one of the best things I've ever had. And that was from the joking of not liking Woody the whole time. And at the time of this video going up, we're going to be like just under 2 weeks away from going to the Pixar event in London, where there is going to be an Andy's Room photo op, and I might just have to square up to Woody for a photo. But I do like him. I like the idea that he comes full circle, that he is going to go to college with Andy, but he finds his place amongst the toys. And I do love the moment where Bonnie wants Woody, and Andy like doesn't want to give him to. Like, I wouldn't either.
The bit that gets me is when she looks and she just goes, "There's a snake in my boot." I'm like, "Oh, prick! Oh, I hate you! Oh, you're so cute and full of potential. I hate you. I hate you so much."
I'm worried for the Toy Story 4 of you. I'm not going to lie. I'm actually a bit worried.
I will say, did the parents at no point think, "Why is that 17-year-old rolling on the grass with our 4-year-old daughter? And why is he giving her a load of toys?"
They're probably, do they smell like they've been in the trash for a while? Like they've just come straight from the incinerator?
Yeah.
No, because they hose themselves off, don't they?
They do.
Yes,
They hose themselves off before they go back. because there's that funny sight gag. Potato Head takes his nose off, and all the water comes out. This film is funny. I love this film so much.
I mean, I want to talk about Lotso because we've spoken a little bit about Ned Beatty with him as well. So if you guys didn't know this, Lotso was originally meant to be in Toy Story 1, but they couldn't animate fair at the time. So apparently, if you look closely, you can see a purple bear on the shelf, and that was like a nod. But what I love with him in this is the backstory that he's a great villain for what he does as a villain, right? But when you get the villain backstory of he was replaced, the others weren't, just him alone, and that turned him into like the overnight monster. And what I love with this, and I've never forgotten it, his relationship with Big Baby, and it's the way
Big Baby.
Yeah, like it's like George and Lenny from Mice and Men. That and not even that. Let's do another Star Wars reference. They go full Return of the Jedi when Baby picks him up and throws him into the trash. I love it so much. I love Big Baby, and I always feel really sad for it because it's the muscle of like his regime, and he's lied to her the whole time. What a way to develop basically giving character development to a baby born. That's never happened before.
Lotso is great, and I do love. Yeah, that they turn that big Southern dandy into like the best line. The way Ned Beatty delivers it is when he throws Woody's hat and he goes, "If you try to escape, you're just hurting yourself." I'm like, "Oh, you're a prick." You're a prick. 32-year-old me watching it with a child going, "What an arsehole."
I can't wait. I'm not going to lie. The baby's coming in a few months because I'm going to be an uncle. I cannot wait because I've been told specifically no Star Wars. And doing these Pixar things, I've been like, I can't wait to sneak in. Like, how soon's too soon for Toy Story? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm so
limit does
curious.
not exist.
I'm
Get the baby a Lotso. It smells like strawberries, man.
Wow. I don't know if I told you both this.
Toy Story 3 came out and it still smells like strawberries.
Yeah, me and my sister got my mum a Lotso Hugging Bear around 2012. Still smelling like strawberries. My son is obsessed with it because it smells like strawberries.
So I'd gone to buy the newborn that isn't born yet a Lotso. They were on offer in the lead up to Christmas. I got one from £40.
They were. I saw it because I was looking for something for my nephew as well, and they had a lot of Lotsos.
And I ordered it. And the reason I'm scanning is because I'm going to get you guys a photo. I instead gave it to my other niece, who isn't a human, who is a dog.
Ah, yes. I have seen this. This is wonderful.
This is Bella with her Lotso. She is like the dog in Toy Story 1 when she gets a new toy. She does the head spin, the ripping, the throwing. And I was like, I'm going to set her a challenge. I'm going to get her something that she cannot do that to. And I got told yesterday that she has finally killed Lotso Hugging Bear. And there was another one with him. She tried to attack him, and he was too big. So she would just sleep on him instead.
Mm-hmm. To be fair, he did leave those toys to die, so kind of
he's a horrible man. Evil man. But I probably will get the baby, a smaller Lotso baby.
A baby.
Get on the...
May I just raise my favourite character in the film?
Yes,
voiced by one of my favourite actors of all time. Right? You know when Barbie came out? Right? And there was all this BS about Ryan Gosling as Ken. He's not Ken. Michael Keaton is Ken. Michael Keaton was the himbo Ken before Ryan Gosling was even making good movies. Like, screw you. And also, for me, all right, Lars and the Real Girl is good. And so is Half Nelson. And I quite like the Notebook. And Remember the Times. Okay, I take that back. But the point of the matter is, why was Michael Keaton not in Barbie? Why was Jodie Benson not in Barbie? Why were they not given cameos in Barbie? Like that bit where Rob Brydon shows up, that should be Michael Keaton.
Yeah.
That probably would have demanded a lot more than Rob Brydon.
Yeah.
Probably. But like Jodie Benson is not pulling in the big money. I know she's Little Mermaid, but like also I love depressed Barbie in Toy Story 3. She just throw me away. It's so funny. And I love I love Ken. He's so funny. He I love him so much. I'd watch a Ken spin-off because Michael Keaton in that film is so funny.
It's the running gags, I think, on top of the fact he's actually got character development and ends up becoming like the head
Yeah.
of Sunnyside with Barbie. It's the running gag about like him being a girl's toy or him being an accessory.
I'm not a girl's toy. Why does everyone keep saying that?
It's so funny, and when she's ripping the clothes as well, when he's going through like the fashion eras, and it's
Not the
he's
groovy
amazing
formal
in-
collection.
it's what's the credits one where it's like, oh, Barbie wrote us a letter, then the camera pans, it's like love from Ken.
Ken. Sunnyside could be cool groovy again.
But Michael Keaton is great in this, and this is it. Like, I know there's that debate of A-listers doing voice acting roles, etc., etc. People hate it. You can put them in some roles. It's just when it is 2010 Michael Keaton is not the equivalent of 2020 Chris Pratt, right? Being in an animated film. Michael Keaton in 1989 goes into something, then you've got a fairer conversation. But he's at a different point in his career. Although 2010, he also did The Other Guys. Great film, great comedy. Great year for Michael Keaton. And
that's from my other job. Forget that. But not if you live in Crown Heights. What can pay?
It's
pre-Birdman. He's not back on the A-list yet. So he's gone from Batman Returns, a couple of really great movies in the 90s, to kind of Herbie Fully Loaded, First Daughter, White Noise, not great movies. Goes into the voice also because he's in Cars. He's the dickhead opponent, Chick Hicks.
Yep.
Is he?
Sorry, Jen.
Yeah, he is.
Hicks. And also, there's quite a few like Toy Story 3
carry over a lot of Pixar voice actors.
Because Bonnie Hunt is obviously, I don't know what the girl car that Lightning McQueen fancies.
Oh yeah, the one that
purple car,
mud on his exhaust.
And then she voices Dolly in Bonnie's Room. And then you also have Whoopi Goldberg, obviously from The Lion King, coming to voice the weird octopus, and Bud Lucky. Lovely old Bud Lucky as Chuckles the Clown. But every time I hear him, I just think of from Incredibles when he's like, you need to do this, I need to do that. We have to pay for this, we have to pay for that. Money, 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 money. I'm the jackalope.
One thing I'll talk about these, because I'm conscious of the time as well. The introduction of all these new toys, and with 3 films in, and Sunnyside, it feels like the perfect place to end the trilogy on, right? When you get the end credit sequence and everyone's gone their separate ways, they're checking in with each other on how life's going. Even having Ken and Barbie running it, like when they're like tagging each other in, like for the playtime of the different age groups, like every single thread in this is paid off. Whether it be from characters who were clearly villains that were actually okay at the end, the Sunnyside sorting out their own problems, Bonnie and her toys, Andy with his. It's quite incredible how in a 100-minute runtime they're able to round out a trilogy, round out a singular film, and leave it on the highest of high notes.
Yeah.
And something, again, I know we haven't spoken about it until now, the return of Randy Newman, which obviously you need for Toy Story, and I'm assuming he's going to be doing Toy Story 5, and I'll be, if I'm honest, enraged if he isn't, unless he's just going to do a song or two. But the score in this is so different to the other ones. You mentioned, Paul, earlier about the cutting off as it moves into the timeline. I think about the sequence when they're all going to die, and I'm like, that's the same composer. That isn't someone else coming in and doing a different tone. It's not cousin Thomas Newman coming in who's done a few Pixars. It's still at Randy Newman Toy Story, and it's some of his best work within the Toy Story series. And okay, great composers have done series. That's never been hidden. He obviously then goes and makes another original song, which wins Best Original Song at the Oscars too. And I love it in the context of the credits. What do you guys both think of the score before we start looking at the sort of the legacy of this?
I love the score. I think it's the best score in the franchise. I think it's probably the best score Randy Newman has ever composed, because he doesn't sing a lot in this one, which helps. Wonderful. Again, the thing in the furnace when they're going to the fire, just depressing.
Very Terminator-esque.
Yes, it is. As it should be.
The kind of clanging metal. It almost goes dun 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 dun. It goes dun dun. done. It's there. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I mean, I do love the score for Toy Story 2 because I love the whole sequence with Jerry. So, and I mean, I've made no bones. I don't like You've Got a Friend in Me. I prefer Strange Things.
Great song.
I prefer Strange Things. I do like this song. We Belong Together, I think, is a really nice song. And I think it, because obviously the end sort of musical interlude when they're playing in the front yard is great.
Yeah.
And you get that excellent bit when he says, you know, so long, partner, and he drives off. And then it pans upwards and it pans to the sky, and the sky is the same sky that was his bedroom wallpaper. It's full circle. And then you're like, if it had ended there, you'd be like, I am very satisfied that I've just had a really great trilogy. And then they do the little add-on. We got a nice song, and we can see where everyone's going. And it's a lovely song. We Belong Together is lovely. Berserk, that's great, and yeah, you know, even the bastard monkeys cymbaling along, still hate him. And also, it then leads into one of my favourite moments of the film, which is the Gypsy Kings cover of "You've Got a Friend in Me," done in a kind of salsa version with Buzz and Jesse salsa dancing, which is just. It's just great.
Which is my favorite part of the film is Spanish Buzz. I love Spanish Buzz. Spanish Buzz
is so funny.
It's the change of voice actor as well. Like, it adds to it so much more. That it's. I remember it was so funny at the cinema, and it's still funny every time. It's, how do you even come up with that? And that's what again works. Like I
was dying laughing. I still remember I was dying laughing.
Yeah,
for Spanish.
It wiped the audiences out because it was so ridiculous. Funny. It has no business to work, and it does. And again, it's Pixar nailing it. And it kind of. Oh, sorry, Paul.
You know, I was just going to say it's great that they did that instead of just going straight with the Buzz's back to how he was in the first film. Because he does that for a bit, and I was a bit like, the thing is, that's the first movie, and it's also the other Buzz from Toy Story 2, which is funny. And like, you know, you get some funny moments where he's like, God, was I like that? Like, that's quite funny. But then when he turns into that Buzz, but Spanish, he's like, that's actually the fact that he's like, he's still the Space Ranger, but he's also part Zorro is so stupid and so fun. Like the bit where he's like, when Woody comes back and then he's like, he says the subtitles are like, escape, excelente!
It's like the cowboy again. Like, it's brilliant.
It's when he picks up Jesse and they're running through like the trash compactor.
Slow motion.
And he's like, it's so stupid, but so I love it. I just think it's so clever.
I want to talk about a couple of other things. So we're talking about 2026. This film would go on to get 5 Oscar nominations. Nominated the third and the most recent animated film to be nominated for Best Film at the Oscars, Toy Story 3. Nominated for Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Animated Film, Best Sound Editing, and Original Song. It won, obviously, Animated Film and Original Song. Like Up, nominated for 5, is doing well with the non-animated categories, which I don't think Pixar's probably anything from since this, maybe. But the real story of this was its box office. And I love box office talk sometimes, but this is the highest grossing film of 2010. It grossed just over $1 billion, $1,066 million, off a $200 million budget. And at the time, that was the highest grossing budget ever for an animated film. It would also be Pixar's highest grossing film until The Incredibles 2, and the highest grossing animated film until Frozen. So record-breaking Toy Story 3 is basically where we're at with this. It was there to destroy and break records. Obviously, this is the era of 3D. And I have always said, animation, particularly computer animation like Toy Story, genuinely lent itself to 3D. And I defended that at the time, and I still do. I wouldn't care for hand-drawn animation. I don't think that would work as well. But the Pixar animated ones I thought genuinely were amazing in 3D.
Yeah.
But we're obviously talking about this 16 years later. I'm just going to ask you both the question. The legacy of this film, we've bashed 4 so much. We know 5 is coming. Should it have ended with 3? That's a question I want to ask before we go into final scenes. And I know I've not planned this, but should it have ended with 3? Or is it the fact that maybe they got 4 wrong? Because I'm in the latter category on that. I I had no issue with a Toy Story trilogy. I have no issue with them wanting to do a little bit more, but I think that first one is they got wrong, and I'm really hopeful, if I'm allowed to say it, that 5 is an improvement as an understatement on 4.
Yeah, I think they made a mistake with 4. And I say that as someone who is tentatively excited for 5, because at this point I've had 3 great Toy Story movies and 1 not so great. So the law of averages is in my favor, and it's in the movie's favor, really. But it's the perfect ending. I know a lot of people have used the excuse, and I think it's a very bad excuse of, oh, but the first 3 were Andy's story, the 4th was Woody's story. No, it wasn't. We don't follow Andy in the original trilogy. We follow Woody. It's his story. It's his with all the other toys. And again, not to go into the mistakes of 4 specifically, 4 also makes the big mistake of, it's this one last adventure, so we're going to keep Woody away from the rest of the group. Everything ends perfect. Every arc is concluded, and now we go back to they go back to the status quo of just having a kid and being there for a kid. We already know. We've already covered that base, so we don't need any more movies. We don't need any more story because we know what's going to happen with them. So yeah, I think ending it at 3 was beyond perfect, and they just wrote themselves into a corner.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the final shot is the clouds again. Like it's a full circle. It's like poetry. It rhymes. You know, yes. I George Lucas. I shouldn't have sold you. But I would have been, for me, I would have been happy if they just kept doing little short films.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that, especially in like the Disney Plus era, because I remember when Sky had the rights, I think it was Toy Story of Terror, and they made a big deal about it's a 20-minute Toy Story short adventure. The whole gang are back, and I was like, "This is great. I'm up for this." And Toy Story, and again, I say Toy Story that time forgot. I think it's so clever, and I would have been happy if they were just like, "We're going to keep the story going, but it's only going to be in 20-minute little kind of Wallace and Gromit-esque adventures, and we kind of revisit them, and it's like, again, what ifs? What if there were toys that thought that they were actual prehistoric gladiators? What if they were in a motel out of The Shining? What if this? And I think I would have been happy with that because it's not, I don't know, when it becomes a film, it then carries the weight of, the other 3 are perfect. So you got to be perfect. Like, doing a great movie, difficult. Doing 2 great movies, surprising. Doing 3 great movies, unheard of, where all 3 are perfect. So the fact that 4 for me, also, I think the thing that 3 gets right that 4 doesn't, not to bash 4 too much, is 4 sidelines the original gang in favor of these new characters, whereas Toy Story 3 introduces 15 new characters that are all individual characters that you can chart, like that's that one's personality, that one, while still giving time to Rex and Ham and Slinky, and also the fact that Slinky's voice actor died and they replaced him with someone who sounds so much like him, like
one of his friends as well, apparently.
Yeah, Blake. I can't remember what his surname is, but he does a great and he even said like, "Oh, I used to do an impression of Jim Varney just to wind him up because I could do it." So they came to me and they went, "Could you do it?" And he's like, "Do you know what? For Jim, I'll do it." Whereas when you get to the problem is now, obviously, this franchise has been going for 30 years, and a lot of those actors were not young when they started doing the movie. Like Don Rickles was old. Yeah. He was already like 70. So the fact that he made it for 3 and a couple of shorts, and then you feel, I just feel like you feel in the 4th one, you're like, there's no.
Blake Clark was his name, by the way.
Blake Clark, that's it. He's great in 50 First
Clark.
Dates. He's so good in 50 First Dates. Enough of the titty dance. But the problem is now, if you're going to keep doing them, like all the actors are getting on.
The old ones are now Woody and Buzz.
Wallace Shawn is like 100. Like, how many more Rex adventures have we got left? He's so old. Exactly. And I just feel like the difference is when I heard the synopsis for Toy Story 5, I was like, that's actually quite interesting. That is quite interesting, actually. Like, the villain is an iPad. Oh, that's... And even with, like, the friendly frog cover, I'm like, oh, that could be a really
Voiced by
interesting...
Conan O'Brien. I think we're in for a treat.
I think that could be a really interesting thing. Whereas I just thought...
There's no premise to
Yeah.
4 of them. We want a 4th film. That's it. There's no...
Also, the villain, it's like... So
Feels
you're
weird.
a doll that got abandoned. So you're Lotso Hugging Bear, and you've got some scary mannequins as your muscle. So you are Lotso Hugging Bear, but you're not as good. Sorry, Christina Hendricks, you're not as good.
Yeah.
As
But
long
do you
as
know
we
what?
get
Like,
Keanu Reeves back, that's all I'm
I
saying.
slag off Toy Story 4 a lot, but I like Giggle McDimples. I really like the little officer that's like, law enforcement. Hello, sheriff. I like that, and I do like
Combat Carl.
I
I
think
love Combat Carl.
I love Combat Carl. Oh no, it's a Combat Carl. Race swapped. Combat Carl. He's white in Toy Story 1, just some point say. That toy got a rebrand and nobody commented. I do like Duke Kaboom. I think Duke Kaboom needs his own series of spin-offs. Like little short spin-offs with Duke Kaboom, because his whole his whole trauma about getting rejected by Regent. I'm just a toy, Regent. I can't make the job. I'm just a toy, Regent. Is actually genuinely hilarious.
Yeah.
Perfect Keanu timing. One of Keanu's
Oh,
best roles amongst an incredible career.
100%.
So good, because, and again, much like Timothy Dalton, he's playing against his persona.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves is cool. Keanu Reeves kicks ass. Duke Kaboom is a sad, neurotic toy.
Duke Kaboom could only be Keanu Reeves or Tom Cruise. No others.
Yeah.
One of those two.
Oh
no
my
one
God.
else could ever play that.
Tom Cruise as Duke Kaboom would be great, because he would be like, I just can't. I can't do it, Rajan. Okay? I'm not a freaking toy. I'm a toy, man. I'm a toy. He'd have been great. Get Tom Cruise to voice a toy. Get Tom
Maybe
Cruise
he
to
will.
voice...
Maybe we'll get a surprise. I doubt it. But who knows? I know he's got a Warner Brothers deal now, but
he should have been a Combat Carl.
Well, it should have been
Carl.
Tom. Just him as a toy. He never gives his own
I'm
likeness
an
away.
Ethan Hunt action figure. Look at me. I'm an Ethan Hunt action figure. It'd be great. Bring back Ken.
Well, who knows? Maybe this one. Right. We've spoken about a lot of these, but I'm going to put you both on the spot. Before we do final thoughts, favourite scene from Toy Story 3. That is tricky, because I know we could say every scene, every moment if we needed to. I'm going to jump in and say, for the trauma it has given me, I'm going with the incinerator scene, because I will actually double up and say it is maybe one of the most daring sequences that Pixar have ever done to genuinely kid the world. There is not one person who watched that who didn't think they wouldn't be killed. They invested so well, and they made that work so well. As we've elaborated on, that to me is the best scene of this film. It's solidified. It's like the icing on the top of the cake of what we've already had, of how this film is going to be different. So I know it's a bit darker, and it made me cry, and I cried again yesterday. I wept yesterday. That's mine. Can't think of anything else.
I'm gonna go with the final scene, the So Long Partner. It's perfect. I'm big into finality. I'm big into paying off a story, making a story worth watching. That's the scene. That's the scene for the whole franchise. Don't do anything after Toy Story 3.
That's tough, because you picked possibly the two most devastating
You
scenes.
could pick them as well.
Well, do you know what? Just for the sake of something a little bit different, I'm going to pick the opening sequence when, the rescue, you get evil Dr. Porkchop's back, because it's also a great way of reintroducing. I also like the music that Randy Newman does, the heroic stuff. It's great, and I still love the sight gag of the orphans. It still makes me. It's still funny. So I'm gonna pick that, but I mean, you can pick the whole film. Like, that bit's great, that bit's great, that bit's great. It's all great. It's a great movie. There's not a single thing about it that I don't like.
Movie.
It is absolutely flawed. There's not a single thing where I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I like all of it.
and this leads me into the final thoughts. I think I know where we're going with this, each of us. We're going to do a ranking when this series ends of the 32. Not ranking 32 in a row, but it's going to be the big top 10 videos we always do. It's safe to say that this will probably be near the top, if not the top. I think this is not only one of my favourite films on par with Toy Story 2 for different purposes of each of those entries, but this is arguably one of the best films ever made, let alone animated films, let alone Pixar films for the sake of these discussions.
Yep.
It's incredible that after the delays, what we spoke about, the differing stories, the political studio versus one another before acquisition, they were able to all come together eventually to make this film that not only justified itself as a third film, because there hadn't been a third sequel at this point in time in Pixar. There hadn't even been a second film in a Pixar at this point in time, except Toy Story. And I think this is one of the absolute best that will remain in that conversation for the rest of my days.
100%.
Yeah.
It's Pixar.
And I think as well, the proof is in the pudding with the Oscars as well. You know, 3 animated films. Beauty and the Beast, classic fairy tale. That was when it was 5, which is impressive. Up, which again, that opening sequence is a movie unto itself. I think it got nominated for that opening alone. And then for a sequel, a threequel, the third movie in a franchise. And I know they bumped it to 10, but even so, you're like, yeah, but it's a sequel. It's an animated film. They nominated it. They selected it as one of the 5 best adapted screenplays of that year. And that's not just because, and I think that's because of everything: the character development, the themes, just the dialogue alone. Like the fact that I keep quoting it because it's like, yeah, but all of it's hilarious. Is I think that and the sound is great, and the score is great, and the song's great, and it's obviously animated. It's great, but the fact that the proof is in the pudding there, where you're like, it was selected as one of the 5 best adapted screenplays. It was selected by the Academy as one of the 10 best films in a very competitive year. In a that 2010 was very competitive. When you look at what was nominated that year, you're looking at some heavyweight movies, and the fact that Toy Story I think, if you looked at who was voting, I reckon it ranked pretty high in the Academy's votes because. And I mean, obviously, it was always going to make a lot of money because Pixar movies do, regardless of quality. Cars, sorry, Jed. But yeah, and also I think it marks it's the Avengers Endgame of Pixar, in that it's the culmination of everything they've done, and they've had some good ones since, but they've lost the consistency and the hype, I think.
That's very fair. Ren, any more thoughts from you before we round out?
No, this is Pixar's best movie. It's the best Toy Story film, and like you said yourself, one of the best films ever made. I mean, yeah, it hasn't gotten any better because it's impossible, but it hasn't gotten any worse.
Definitely. And that's kind of where we're going to go with this review. That is how we round out our discussion on Toy Story 3, ending the discussion on the Toy Story trilogy. And you might be wondering, what follows from Toy Story 3 from this illustrious studio? And if you look at the screen, you will find out, because coming up next is Cars 2.
Boo.
Followed by Brave. Followed by Monsters University. And Inside Out makes it on. That's going to be coming out.
Yay! An actual good film.
Yeah. I
To
can't
quote
wait.
Gordon Ramsay, finally some good fucking food.
And this is what I can't wait for, is that we are only 11 films in. We're just under a third of the way into the series, which sounds wild. It feels like we're already so far in. There's a lot more to come. And I thank both of you for jumping on, taking time out of your day for doing this with me today. It's Pixar's 40th anniversary. If you're watching it later on, obviously it's not, but it is on the day of the uploads. I'm going to hand over to both of you. Ren, what are you up to at the moment? Where can the people find you?
You can find me at Ren Geekness on every social media, and I'll finally be reviewing Marty Supreme this week because I'm finally watching it.
Excellent. Paul?
You can find me, Paul Klein Yo, with 2 O's on Twitter, and there you can find my link tree for Letterboxd, Blue Sky as well, if you're a Blue Skyer, and of course my TikTok, where I do reviews, silly videos of me lip syncing to things, and deep dives into the political aspects of certain films, if that tickles your fancy. And you can find my reviews for Filmhounds magazine.
Definitely. Everybody, please follow both of them. It's been a pleasure to have you both on. Thank you so much for rejoining me. We've had you on other entries. We'll be getting you both on a few more as well. And that is me rounding out. I've got no idea what's coming up on the channel. It's recording way too far in advance for me to know. But we know it's awards season. There might be some Peaky Blinders reviews on the channel. We've got Pixar coming up every Tuesday. It's a very busy time. I want to thank everybody for sticking around, for your support. And we'll see you on the next one. Take care.